Welcome to CUWFalcons.com. I'm Steve Schauer, joined here by women's golf coach Greg Nicolai to talk about the NACC championship coming up this weekend. Coach, let's dive into a couple of things.
Okay.
One thing I want to ask you about is the preview event you had a couple of days ago, a week ago. How important was that to get your team out on the course that you're going to play in the championship?
Well, preview event's important. It's our only practice round. And a couple of the players who are freshmen this year have not played the golf course before. And one of our current players this year did not play in the event last year. So it was important for 3 of the 5 who will be playing to see it. The 2 leaders on the team have both played it a number of times, and they've both been all conference down there. So it's just a refreshment for them to see it again and get a little bit more familiar with it. I spoke with the head pro this morning about setting up the golf course yardage-wise, etc., and trying to get it to where it's fair, it's challenging, and yet advantageous for us to play it in that regard.
So that round that you guys played in, how much did you sit down with those 5 or maybe 6 and talk about certain shots or how to play things in that preview event or maybe after to prepare yourself for now what really matters?
Well, we've talked about how they played and where we finished in it. We used the preview event from a conference standpoint to create the seeding for this tournament as in the pairing. So we did finish 4th, and we will be playing in that middle bracket, so to speak. But we, based on the scores we shot, we ran into some issues with the trees at Meadowbrook, and we worked on low punch shots, getting the ball back out in the play, and trying to then be able to advance it from there better than if we had remained in the trees in the long grass.
With what's happened this season, the preview we talked about a couple times here, what are your expectations for the championship?
Well, there's a couple of very good teams in the tournament, being our new incoming team, St. Norbert's and Aurora, will both be very difficult. We anticipate challenging, playing well. Can we compete with those 2 teams? I'm not sure. It's hard to say. We would have to play pretty flawless golf to do so. But that's
Which
our
can
goal.
happen.
That's our goal and expectation, that we've been working on improving their miss shot, so to speak, so that we can still shoot a decent score. Not just hole by hole, but for the whole round. And in that regards, we'll see what happens. And I think individually the players have the ability to play well. We just got to string 3 rounds together to do so, and with the intent of having 3 of our 5 players be all conference if we're going to compete and win.
Let's talk lineup. Part 1 of the question is how important is the lineup 1 through 5? And the second part of that is, are you going to maybe bring 6 and swap somebody out if somebody may have a bad round?
We will, yes. We will bring all 6 players that we have. It's a very close-knit team, so I feel a little uncomfortable leaving somebody at home anyways. But we'll be doing some online scoring or on-course scoring for the conference and the live scoring aspect. And the extra players may be used in that element to do so as a kind of a community gesture by all the other teams in the conference. But yeah, if somebody has a bad round, we will swap them out. We have the ability to move them in and out of the lineup. I think our top 2 or 3 are pretty well set, so it'd be a matter of how 4 and 5 play and what happens with them. Okay.
When you set a lineup 1 through 5, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, does that go into the player's mental aspect of it, or does it really matter if I'm playing 1 or 2 that day?
It shouldn't matter a whole lot. I don't want to put somebody at the bottom of the rotation up at top, but my 1 and 2 have flip-flopped all year. 3 has been pretty solid. 3 and 4 have both been pretty solid, and I flipped out 5 and 6 a little bit at it, because the ranges of scores are a little bit more spread out. On the men's side, they're a little bit tighter, so it wouldn't matter quite as much from that perspective.
Ross, this year you've had some freshmen that have played.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get them ready for a round that the competition and the excitement's going to be ramped up just a little bit more?
Well, trying to do that through practice and hitting very specific shots that will be there and talking to them about it. With the intent that we're working on very specific things that will help them get better and hopefully get them over that hump of nervousness. we're in the middle wave, so I anticipate that, a third of the field and the parents in the crowd will be gone by the time we tee off, which is kind of the intent with that. And, we'll take our chances and see where the chips fall after round one, and they'll redo pairings for round two and then again for round three.
Last thing, this month of September has been nothing short of unbelievable with the rain. How do you go about preparing your team for possibility of a light mist or rain, wet conditions? I mean, heck, you could get there and it's sunny and 70 out.
Correct.
What do you do?
Well, this
if you have
year,
great or bad weather?
This year, every player has a pair of rain gloves, which will help them hold on to the golf club. We have bucket hats that we have purchased for the team to help keep them dry in addition to rain gear. I encourage rain pants for them to keep them dry, warm, etc. And multiple pairs of shoes to bring along to swap out if their feet get wet. There's nothing worse than being cold and wet. And having dry feet is part of that, and we have umbrellas, we have Let's towels that we bring along, and, we kind of go from there and try to protect them best we can. And we just played in the rain this past weekend down in Janesville, so you have to have the equipment packed along and ready to go.
Thanks, Coach, and good
No
luck this
problem.
weekend
Thank
at the
you.
NACC
Appreciate
Championship.
that.
And stay tuned to CUWFalcons.com for updates on the women's golf program.